people just like attacking Jake Paul and like wanting to see me fail for literally like fucking nothing. Like they're suing me for something I didn't do. Like, on God, it's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of fucking money for no reason. And I'm like, it just pisses me the fuck off.
Breaking: Netflix sues Jake Paul after fight loss of Anthony Joshua as he tried to rig fights and even offered Joshua a deal which he refused. Netflix uncovered the scheme and sued Jake Paul. Joshua's victory stands pure while Jake's tactics finally caught up with him, shocking fans everywhere.
Kind of gym that I was in.
There's no coming back from that. The people who like dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get like
Anthony Joshua doesn't hold back, calling out Jake Paul's empty bravado. He exposes how all the talk meant nothing because Jake had no real achievements to back it up. Joshua's focus and accomplishments in the ring speak louder than any social media hype, showing fans why he's a true heavyweight champion. While Jake Paul is all show.
I said, but why are you worrying about what someone else has done? What have you done as a fighter to kind of boost your ego up? But you couldn't answer it.
Duke McKenzie perfectly sums up the reality behind Jake Paul's fights. Netflix's lawsuit just confirms what everyone already suspected. Anthony Joshua's dominance highlights the massive gap in skill, and Jake's attempts to rig the system only emphasize how out of his depth he truly is. Fans are finally seeing the truth exposed.
Everybody knows he's not a real boxer. There's levels to this game, and he was way out of his level, way out of his...
Eddie Hearn's reaction shows the shockwaves Netflix's lawsuit has sent through the boxing world. Everyone is realizing just how reckless Jake Paul's actions were trying to manipulate fights for hype. Anthony Joshua's victory wasn't just earned in the ring. It also exposes Jake Paul's antics, leaving fans satisfied justice is in motion.
I guess everything's calmed down a little bit. I thought it was a bitch move, if I'm honest, because anytime you...
Johnny Nelson points out that Jake Paul's career choices have been hollow and self-serving. Facing Anthony Joshua finally exposed the limits of his skill and mindset. While Jake focused on hype, Joshua's victory demonstrated what true preparation and talent can achieve. Netflix's lawsuit now adds an official stamp on what fans already knew about Jake Paul's lack of legitimacy.
His career, for his bank account, everything, for his development, I don't think he did anything for his development because he didn't have somebody in front of him that wanted to test his development.
Adam Smith highlights the murky nature of Jake Paul's dealings. Fans have long suspected shady practices, and now Netflix has confirmed it through legal action. Anthony Joshua's pure win contrasts sharply with Jake's attempts to manipulate outcomes. The gray areas no longer hide the truth as the boxing world watches Jake Paul finally face consequences for his actions.
It just shouldn't happen, but we don't know. As with all these things, there's always a grey area, isn't there? But,
Johnny Nelson captures the moment Jake Paul realized he was outmatched. Anthony Joshua's skill and strategy left no room for gimmicks. Netflix suing Jake just reinforces that the fight's result was authentic. Fans finally get confirmation that Joshua is on another level and Jake Paul's illusions of grandeur have been completely dismantled.
This kid have a reality check. And that's what he actually did, because Jake Paul himself said, I was shattered. This guy, everything I thought I could.
Logan Paul's reaction sums up the chaos in the ring and the consequences of Jake Paul underestimating Anthony Joshua. The brutal outcome wasn't just a physical lesson, but a public reality check. Netflix's lawsuit adds weight to the story, showing that Jake's fight antics and attempts to manipulate results are finally being addressed by authorities. Fans are witnessing full accountability.
I just pissed him off, then he broke my brother's jaw. Jaw, huh? Yeah, he split his jaw. Yeah? You don't care though, Jake's having a fucking...
Simon Jordan explains how Netflix benefits from Jake Paul's antics while Anthony Joshua emerges as the true winner in skill and reputation. The lawsuit proves that even the platform is unwilling to let Jake get away with deception. Fans can now see clearly who belongs in the ring and who relies on hype over substance.
boxer. Netflix have got some wonderful content, and Jake Paul runs around doing what Jake Paul does. So everybody wins, and only the people that don't win are the people that go, well, look at, and even the people that think Anthony Joshua is a busted flush now go, well,
Jake Paul finally admits the toll Anthony Joshua took on him in the ring. The broken jaw is a physical marker of how outclassed he was. While Jake tries to spin it lightly, Netflix's lawsuit ensures fans know there was more than just a knockout at play. Joshua's dominance is undeniable and Jake's schemes have been exposed.
Broken, by the way, so yeah, it's definitely broke. But man, that was good. Nice little ass whooping from one of the best to ever do it.
Anthony Joshua shows true sportsmanship while also highlighting why he is the real deal. Even though Jake Paul tried to survive, his lack of skill was clear. Joshua's ability to break through Jake's stubborn resistance proves why he is a top-tier heavyweight. Netflix's lawsuit now also validates that Jake's tactics were underhanded and his attempts to manipulate fights were caught. This fight wasn't just a victory in the ring. It was a statement. Fans are seeing Joshua's class, skill, and integrity contrasted with Jake Paul's hollow bravado, and the boxing world has taken notice.
But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best, and I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did.
Duke McKenzie lays bare Jake Paul's mindset, which was focused entirely on survival rather than fighting. Anthony Joshua's dominance made it impossible for Jake to execute any real strategy. Netflix's lawsuit now exposes that Jake even tried to manipulate outcomes outside the ring, reinforcing Joshua's victory as a genuine triumph of skill and preparation. Fans see clearly the difference between a real boxer's intent and someone trying to cheat their way to relevance. Anthony Joshua's focus, poise, and power were unmatched, leaving Jake scrambling and now legally exposed.
Jake Paul knew exactly what his tactics would be going into that fight. He was in there just to survive. He wasn't in there to win. He didn't even try to win. He couldn't win. So when you know your mindset, you know your mind's like, I can't win that fight. What do? I've got to survive. How do I survive? I've got to run like.
Carl Froch doesn't hold back in calling Jake Paul's career a circus. Netflix's lawsuit exposes the full extent of Jake's manipulation and the attempts to rig fights, reinforcing that his victories were never legitimate. Anthony Joshua's performance underscores the real skill gap, making Jake's self-promotion seem even more absurd. Fans are witnessing the collapse of Jake's fabricated image, and Joshua's credibility shines brighter than ever. This isn't just about a knockout. It's about exposing a system of deception and reaffirming why real talent in boxing demands respect and discipline.
Fabio Wardley now has won the fight fair and square because that's the decision, that's the referee's final decision. Wardley wins the fight. He is now mandatory for Alexander Usyk. What is he going to do against Alexander Usyk? Where do we go from here? Alexander Usyk, the undisputed.
Payne points out how Jake Paul's fight strategy was purely defensive, relying on avoidance and mix rather than real offense. Anthony Joshua's patience and adaptability allowed him to control the fight despite these tactics. Netflix's lawsuit further confirms that Jake's survival tactics were premeditated and potentially scripted, proving Joshua's victory is authentic and hard-earned. Fans now see clearly that skill, strategy, and determination beat hype. And Anthony Joshua's discipline and preparation leave no doubt about his superiority.
But generally, the game plan was to run a lot, hold whenever he had to. He dropped his knees for a fucking takedown there quite a lot.
The Wade concept nails the reality of Jake Paul's fight. Running was his only choice against Anthony Joshua's relentless skill and power. Netflix suing Jake underscores that his antics weren't just limited to the ring. He tried to manipulate outcomes off it, too. Joshua's win wasn't just about a knockout. It's a full dismantling of Jake's fabricated persona. Fans finally see the contrast between a true champion who prepares, executes, and dominates and a fighter relying on hype, avoidance, and deception. Anthony Joshua's credibility and boxing IQ shine brilliantly in this fight.
Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ, and trade punches until someone laid flat,
The Wade concept really highlights the reality of Jake Paul's defensive game plan, which made Anthony Joshua's work harder than expected. Even with his timing challenged, Anthony Joshua adapted and showcased why he is a true heavyweight champion. Netflix's lawsuit proves that Jake Paul was attempting to manipulate fights outside the ring, and his strategy in there only confirms he was trying to survive rather than compete. Fans are seeing that real champions adjust, adapt, and impose their will while pretenders scramble to avoid humiliation. Anthony Joshua's patience and skill were on full display, proving that even a cautious opponent cannot stop a legitimate world-class fighter. The fight exposed to the full gap in skill and discipline.
I think Jake fought a very, how do I survive long enough to land a right hand type of fight, and it made it a little difficult for AJ to get his timing. No excuses. AJ didn't look great, I'll be honest. He didn't look great. He didn't look like, an AJ we thought we were going to get, the marauder, the guy that was going to come forward and bang out Jake in one round.
Nikki Sabidarian breaks down how Anthony Joshua's ring IQ completely exposed Jake Paul's lack of technique and conditioning. Every time Jake attempted to hold or engage, Joshua punished him smartly, draining his energy and taking control of the fight. Netflix's lawsuit now highlights that Jake was even trying to script outcomes outside the ring, making his in-ring antics predictable. Joshua's intelligence, patience, and power demonstrated why real champions dominate, while hype fighters like Jake struggle to even make it through rounds. Fans watching this see a masterclass in strategy and endurance, and Jake's desperation only magnified Joshua's brilliance. Every move of Anthony Joshua showed calculated precision while Jake merely reacted.
That was Jake trying to engage in the clinch, and AJ smartly moved back. In one instance, I think it was the 5th round, Jake engaged for a clinch, AJ moved back and started punching down on Jake's back. So all of those things kind of deteriorated or emptied Jake's gas tank a lot earlier than I think he expected it.
David Hayes sums up perfectly how Anthony Joshua had to overcome Jake Paul's evasive and calculated tactics to secure the knockout. Even with lateral movement and an overhand right attempt, Jake could not match Joshua's skill, power, or adaptability. Netflix's lawsuit further exposes that Jake's pretense of competition was only part of a wider manipulation attempt. Joshua's methodical dismantling round after round highlighted why he is a heavyweight of true class. Fans see that a real champion handles adversity, remains patient, and ultimately finishes the job, leaving no room for shortcuts, hype, or scripted victories. Anthony Joshua's performance reinforced the gap between genuine skill and showmanship.
Everyone was expecting it. It's very difficult to pin someone down when they're not trying to engage. Jake's game plan was a good one, was to use lateral movement and hope to land a big overhand right at some stage to catch AJ off guard. Didn't quite work out, but you got to give Jake credit. Took some big shots there. I think he's got a broken jaw or some spitting blood at the end of the fight. Anything's possible. He gave it a go. He dared to be great. Didn't work out for him, understandably. That's why he was such a massive underdog.
The aftermath of Anthony Joshua's showdown with Jake Paul is more than just a highlight reel or viral clips. This fight exposed every weakness Jake Paul had while showcasing Anthony Joshua's unmatched skill, patience, and ring intelligence. From Netflix discovering the scripted fight attempts to the lawsuit being filed, it's clear that Joshua not only won inside the ring, but also preserved the integrity of the sport. Fans saw a true heavyweight master every time Joshua adapted to Jake's movement, punished his failed clinches, and finally delivered the knockout that left no doubts about who belongs at the top. This fight was a stark reminder that hype and showmanship cannot replace genuine skill, preparation, and heart. Anthony Joshua handled everything Jake tried to throw at him while staying composed, calculated, and relentless. The consequences are bigger than just a broken jaw or viral moments. It's about the proof that real champions rise above distractions, manipulations, and attempts at scripted victories. This fight reaffirms Anthony Joshua's place among the elite and exposes the limits of someone chasing fame over substance. Are you backing Anthony Joshua to dominate again, or do you think Jake Paul can somehow recover from this loss? Drop your thoughts below and join the debate.